There's a reason that the financial elite don't want you holding gold. They need you locked into their system, working, borrowing, paying taxes while they manipulate paper money behind the scenes. But here's the thing, gold and silver aren't just shiny metals. They're your escape route from a financial system built on debt, deception, and debasement. So I want to take a quick minute to share some thoughts in reference to just recent activity from this past week. Gold hit another all-time high, and silver appears to be breaking out of that $30 range up towards $34, maybe even $35 an ounce. So definitely it's something worth talking about, because while all the other things are happening in the world, gold and silver are definitely telling a much different story that a lot of people may not be too in tune with. Let's talk about this one. All right, so in this video here, I'm going to share my thoughts on a variety of subject matters related to gold and silver, and why it's becoming even more important to continue to position yourself into what has always been true, tried, and tested when it comes to wealth preservation. And of course, that is sound money itself, because it is the people's best options to protect and preserve everything they work hard. As always, if you guys want to hear more of these little short takes, definitely hit that thumbs up button. Drop a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts, and let me know what perhaps your strategies or suggestions might be. Make sure you hit that subscribe button as well as the check mark so you'll never miss an update when I put out one of these every couple days or so. But one of the questions that people should wonder is, why does a mainstream financial press constantly downplay the role of gold? Why do governments and central banks hoard it while telling the public it's outdated? And most importantly, why is the price of gold towards $3,000 an ounce and beyond, despite all the efforts to keep people distracted? There's a lot of factors as to why that is, but one of them happens to be the paper gold scam. And the mere fact that it even exists is something worth touching on. As you guys know, the paper gold market is a house of cards, and it's a sham, which most people don't realize that when they actually buy gold through these ETFs or these futures or other financial instruments, they're not actually holding the real physical gold, but instead they own a piece of paper that claims to be backed by gold. But if too many people begin to demand physical delivery, the whole system starts to unwind. So this isn't just some wild theory. History has shown that time and time again that whenever financial institutions are asked to deliver actual, they struggle or outright refuse. And why? Because the amount of gold that supposedly exists on paper far exceeds the real supply. It's financial alchemy, pure and simple. Yet the mainstream press continues to push the idea that gold is outdated. They've been doing this for decades. So even back in 2004, the Financial Times ran an editorial entitled "Going Gold," reclaiming that it was a pointless investment. At that time, it was just $400 an ounce, but today it's hovering around $3,000 an ounce. So who was really being misled at that point? Now, the next question to consider is, why do governments appear to hate gold but hoarding it anyway? So if gold is so irrelevant, why do central banks continue accumulating it? Why is China stacking gold at a record level? Why is the European Central Bank still holding massive reserves? These are things that people need to really consider, because gold is real money. Unlike fiat currencies, which can be printed into oblivion, gold retains its value. That's exactly why governments don't want ordinary people owning it. They need you financially dependent and working to pay off debts in currencies that they control. So think about this. When you hold cash, its value is constantly eroded by inflation. But when you hold gold, you're outside their system. That's a problem for the elites, because they thrive on the financial control. They don't want independent, self-reliant individuals who can opt out of their paper money Ponzi schemes. And if you think the push for digital currencies or CBDCs are any different, think again. Central bank digital currencies are just another attempt to maintain control, except even less privacy and more surveillance. So the problem isn't the technology, it's who controls it. And that leads me to my final point, which is why holding gold and silver is a psychological battle in and of itself. Because a lot of people assume that holding gold is easy. They think you could just buy it and sit back and watch the price go up, but the reality is different. Just during the 2000s, when gold was still relatively cheap, the media was relentless in calling it a bad investment. But then once again, depending on how you look at it, the accumulation of gold and silver, in my personal opinion, is not an investment, because an investment is ultimately something that you buy, which has more to do with being a financial product offered by an institution such as a bank, a hedge fund, a private entity, or a government perhaps, when it comes to their debt, that a person buys with the idea of it appreciating in nominal terms, returning some type of yield in the future, i.e. investing. But with gold and silver, if you look at it from the standpoint of it actually being money itself, when you take physical paper and actually go redeem them for gold and silver, you're not investing in gold and silver, because gold and silver doesn't return any type of yield, because it is a monetary constant, meaning that the chemical elements of gold and silver do not change. Only the fiat price actually fluctuates. And so there, on one end, you have an investment which is designed to appreciate over time, returning some type of yield. And then you have gold, which you take the fiat and you actually buy it and it sits there. And as fiat currencies fluctuate itself, gold and silver actually absorbs all that extra liquidity that is brought into the world world as a result of the fractional reserve lending model. And that's a different way of looking at it that most people don't consider. But many early gold investors were ridiculed, told that they were crazy for not trusting the stock market or the almighty dollar. But even as gold climbed past 1,000 to 2,000 and now at 3,000, the skepticism hasn't stopped. And why is that? Because financial markets thrive on emotional manipulation. So when the prices drop, fear sets in. Those to shake people out of their positions to get them to panic sell their real assets in exchange for depreciating paper currency. Because this is a philosophical warfare that's being played upon the masses. But those who see the bigger picture, those who understand that gold is a long-term store of value, not a get-rich-quick scheme, are the ones who win in the end. And so the final question is, what comes next? And so right now are telling us something that inflation isn't going away. Trust in currencies is crumbling. So the financial system is at a breaking point, in my opinion. And you can see it in the markets. You can see it in the desperation of central banks as well. It in the way that real commodities such as gold and silver and even copper are now gaining strength. So once again, taking a minute, sharing my thoughts in reference to what's going on, trying to give you a different perspective and a different angle at which you can look at this and try to process this in hopes of making more sense. Because once again, everything I said in this video here has nothing to do with political affiliation, no political party or nothing like that. It's just the consumer sentiment when it comes to financial markets and what they're choosing to put their currency in rather than what conventional wisdom might have told them in the past, which is to buy stocks and bonds and sit back and relax and enjoy it. And over 30 or 40 years, they'll appreciate in value and you can live happily ever after when you retire. But that narrative is clearly being challenged right now, and people are starting to sense that. So the question is, will you be listening to the conventional wisdom, or will you take the alternative approach and taking matters into your own hands? Once again, just taking a minute to share my 2 cents on the matter. Curious to hear what you guys think. And as always, can't leave you with all this information without also suggesting some strategies that might be worth looking into. And as always, when it comes to gold, let me remind you of the most affordable gold on the market right now. And that's the 24 karat gold backs that anyone can afford. Because for the price of a cup of coffee here of under $3, you can get a half a note of a 24 karat gold polymer note. It helps retain purchasing power throughout time. So there's no excuse not to be able to actually protect yourself from currency debasement by holding physical gold. And if you want to find out more about them or to actually acquire you some, then visit buygoldnotes.com and get your weight up while it's still relatively affordable. And last, if you're interested in getting a hold of a variety of silver products to protect yourself, as well as getting involved in the silver business directly for yourself, then consider the Quicksilver Wealth Acceleration Program, where you can auto ship your silver monthly and have access to your own bullion store to share with family and friends so that you can earn while helping others get their weight up. If you want to find out more about the program for absolutely free and get a 1 gram, then click the free silver link beneath this video here to take you directly to this page. Enter your information, pay for shipping and handling, and it'll come right to your house along with some paperwork that gives you more information about the program. But once again, just taking a minute, share some thoughts on what's happening, as well as providing some strategies that might be worth considering for those who are interested. But as always, curious to hear what you guys think. If you found value, hit that thumbs up button, take this video, share it so other people can get a different perspective, and I'll catch you on the next video. Enjoy your day.